We got this video from Johnny MAGA. Holy smokes, Trump just stared down Free Palestine protesters who called him the Hitler of our time.
Let's go.
In a D.C. restaurant. Check this out.
Yeah, happy to see you. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you.
Idiots.
Clown shoes.
What?
Trump's walking to him. He's walking over to
Where's
him.
Trump? Where's Trump?
He's walking right to him.
Oh, yeah. That's our guy.
Wow. He's pointing at him.
She's holding the flag backwards.
So what's funny about this is that
They don't know.
we've got this tweet from Nick
there's
Sorter who
a
said,
difference
breaking,
Like when
President
Randy
Trump has
Weingarten
just
held the-
unexpectedly put the White House press pool in a motorcade. POTUS is on the move, destination unknown.
This is earlier.
To prove that D.C. is safe, he loaded up the press and brought them to a restaurant where this went down.
So, by the way, this is just my initial reaction. This is the exact opposite of what we saw at the Phillies game. This is a man. This is a man who refused to back down.
Yep.
This is a man who saw the tiny women screaming in his face, and he walked directly over to them and
Pointed at him.
You know, he points at him a little bit, and just knowing the president as much as we do at this point, I got to imagine he probably had a smirk on his face when he did that, and probably gave them a little wave and sat down. So yes, there are ways to de-escalate without submitting. You stand your ground. You turn the other cheek. That's exactly what he did.
So as the vice president's doppelganger, I'm just going to jump in rather quickly here and say that this really comes back to that emasculated man point and also to Mom Donnie. The opposite of Trump in this situation, you will see David French or some other columnist in the weak men category look at this story and say, the writing's on the wall. The Free Palestine people, they found Trump. They've surrounded the poor dictator. And at the same time, the weak men are the last guys to actually realize it's all over. They're the last guys. Mom Donnie's proposing these ideas. They're not popular. Phil, we've talked about this before. The weak men are the last ones to find out that, like you said, Jack, the rest of the baseball stadium was against that Karen. The rest of the restaurants against these Free Palestine protesters. They don't get it. America has left that crap behind.
Yeah, and I think that I think you're right. I don't know how long it's going to take the actual, the people that would go and do this to actually recognize it. I think there's probably a portion of the activist class that won't ever realize it. Mm-hmm. But the more people ignore them and start shouting them down and mock them, the better it is for the rest of society.
Funny you mentioned that because my dad is actually texting in the family chat right now. No, he is not watching the show. He is watching the Phillies game, of course.
What a man. Let's go.
That's my dad. He doesn't miss Phillies games. He doesn't miss Phillies games. Or when the Eagles are on, he doesn't miss Eagles. And he says, people are now imitating the Philly Karen every time they catch a foul ball.
That's awesome.
Game. So she is being mocked very derisively.
How many people are going to dress up like Phillies Karen for Halloween?
Oh, wait, hold on.
As many as the Coldplay cheating couple?
Yeah.
I would do that.
It's going to be, some happy. What's this?
Poland.
I don't know.
Poland.
Phone.
It might be.
I don't think there's anything going on in Poland.
I would dress up as the Phillies.
They've
Karen
reopened
for
some of the
Halloween.
airports, by the way.
I think they should start. I think they should start selling that wig. With the little the black underneath and the gray top.
But that's
the ripped
so many of
jeans.
them, though.
Every Spirit Halloween is going to have these ready to go.
I think they should. Do.
Okay, what's the
Yeah.
generic name they give to
Phillies
Karen?
Baseball Karen.
Baseball
You can't
Karen?
say Phillies.
No.
Phillies is copyrighted.
Oh, it is. But she's wearing a Phillies jersey.
Baseball Karen.
Baseball Karen.
Yep.
That's
because
not bad.
that's already how I searched for it, and that's how I found the story.
You found it by Baseball Karen.
That's what people were saying on Twitter. X, sorry, Elon.
I think we were calling it Phillies Karen, but I like the Phillies.
Baseball Karen.
You gotta like the Phils.
Yeah,
It's gonna weep and
we
say
never
go
we never
Cards.
came up with a name for a weak guy though. Everyone's like, what's the male version of a
I
Karen?
can say it. It's just not politically appropriate.
Well, people are saying Kyle.
A Kyle? I don't know.
No.
I don't see so.
No,
I don't think Kyle's it.
there isn't one.
No.
There's got to be a word for a guy who's weak and cuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say cuck simp.
We already have words for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what obviously with this video where Trump walks over to the protesters, it's why Trump wins.
Yeah, so I have a lot of respect for J.D. Vance just going at these protesters by ignoring them completely. And I think that's what we need to do as a culture. You know, we need to stop giving so much credence and airspace to these people who hate us and hate everything and really just want to be as destructive as possible.
I don't give a
Just
bleep
start
what you call it.
ignoring them.
You know what?
Ignore Greta Thunberg. We've been doing a good job of that lately. Ignore these stupid protesters who don't actually know anything about their history or what's going on.
I think that from an evolutionary standpoint, women are doing what they're supposed to be doing and have always have done, especially this Karen.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that men have become weak.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be tested. And what's going to happen is liberals are not having kids. These weak men are, I mean, that guy has kids, obviously, but guys like that are just less likely to have kids. People on the right, these Gen Z guys who prioritize family, are more likely to have kids, and conservatives have substantially more kids. So I think this is going to be a natural course correction over the next 2 or 3 generations.
Our church in the Midwest right now, where I'm from, is experiencing a baby boom. I've never seen anything like. First of all, we had
20 years is going to be great.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of kids at my church, too.
We had like a teen rally for kids over the weekend, and the preacher essentially gave kind of a testimony to the church and said he hasn't seen kids this invested in what was going on there in like 20, 30, 40 years. There's a major vibe.
Well,
shift.
you know, it's funny. I was saying with that kid at the baseball game, he looks at his dad, and his dad takes the ball from him. And I'm like, that kid got a great lesson about what not to be. And I feel like these kids that are coming to church now and they're invested, it's because they have access to the internet and they can see those go woke, not even once memes where it shows like an 18-year-old girl with like long red hair and smiling. And then it's like 2 years into college and she's morbidly obese with a shaved head and like weird tattoos all over her face.
Yeah, it's like Dare, but for transgender people.
Just woke in general. So it's like, you know, not even once. Do we have a report? You've confirmed that Poland has been taken over by Russia?
No, it was the alien. It actually was aliens, as it turns out. Now, we were all wrong. It was aliens.
Do we know where they were from?
Although it was the Klingons. It was actually the Klingons. And no, that's the main thing is that this is a report out of Poland now where a good friend of mine, Dominik Czarczynski, is the only member of the Polish government now, and he's up publicly, and he's saying that we need to absolutely use caution when we look at all this stuff. He's been sending me a few messages as well as we've been talking. He's saying, who are these people that say that there's an attack going on? You need to wait. You need to figure out what's going on here. And
he's suggesting patience. Patience?
Right.
No. What?
But here's what's even crazier. So, the Polish parliament is actually controlled by the left right now, and he's saying that he can't even get as a member of European Parliament, he can't even get a statement out of the government of Poland about what's going on.
You serious?
Interesting.
That he can't even get a statement out of his own government.
That's interesting.
As to what's happening,
and that's because they're taking orders from somebody else. Probably.
I was ready to say you probably have to check with NATO on the official. Like, we haven't.
Are they asleep, etc.? So there's going to be a huge. I mean, obviously, this is going to have political repercussions in Poland.
Is he a ranking
This
member
actually sounds good, like good news.
MEP.
Oh, this actually sounds like good news because I would say that there's a slight probability favors NATO does not want this to escalate, so they're keeping it tight because they would rather not go to war with Russia. If
they'd rather not, he says.
Yeah, I think right now they're like, this is not the moment. It's out of their control.
We would all generally rather not have nuclear war.
Indeed.
Yes.
Well, I don't trust that NATO doesn't want to go to war. You look at all these warmongers in these NATO nations that want to go to war.
I'm not saying that the politicians wouldn't necessarily. So I think that the political perspective is they want the constant threat of war to be there, and they want to use what the Western European nations want to use Vladimir Putin as a scapegoat for their own failures and their own inflation problems. And
like with the gas prices and stuff.
Yeah, the gas prices or the fact that the German industrial base is completely hollowed out. It's in a state of collapse right now. So German manufacturing exports are just crumbling. They're being destroyed because they no longer have the cheap energy inputs that they once enjoyed. And all of these France's government just collapsed yesterday, by the way.
Again.
Yeah.
And, the UK is pretty much headed for a civil war. Tommy's got his thing going on in a couple of days.
Saturday.
On Saturday.
It'll be interesting.
That.
A lot of people going to be there.
Some rumors that a certain individual involved with X.com might be might be making an appearance. I don't know.
Interesting.
So
Really?
Here's some word on the street about that.
That doesn't surprise me, considering this individual's statements about the UK and
But you never know.
Tommy.
But yeah, I mean, nothing confirmed.
Yo, but let's be real. Like, Graham Linehan is not a British citizen. He's Irish, and he made posts in America, and they arrested him in the UK. I mean, they will arrest Americans.
It's completely insane.
Remember that police chief saying, like, we'll try to extradite Americans for
That's
naughty
crazy.
words?
And I was
ridiculous.
so I was flying
Craziness.
through Heathrow a couple of months ago.
I remember
now.
this. You were posting.
And I had this really long layover because I had to book my flights late. It's a really long story. The communists in Belgium had shut down all the airports because they were on strike. So I was like stuck in Europe. And so I end up at Heathrow, and I say, oh, this is going to be fun. So I'm just going to I'm going to test what I can tweet out. And I said, well, I know I'm not allowed to tweet certain things, but surely, Keir Starmer, you wouldn't have a problem with me tweeting Bible verses. And so I start tweeting Bible verses about how if you allow too many foreigners into your land, they will eventually take over you. They will eat all your crops. They will take over your house. And then I said that's doing pretty well. That's doing pretty well. And I said, but since we're in the UK, let me try to tweet some things from a book that might be a little bit more familiar to you guys, the Quran. And so I went to the Quran, and I found some choice verses out of there as well.
How'd that go?
Haven't been arrested yet, but then again, I also haven't been back
You
to the
haven't
UK.
been back to the UK. Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.